You were put here with a purpose in this world. So on one hand, we need to understand the value of our own contributions, but we also understand that we're also part of something bigger. We have the ability to have healthy egos and also find the balance to not become arrogant.
Today, I sit down with a rabbi to talk about having ambition. For me, I have always had ambition. For some reason, I had these big dreams and I had this unlimited belief that I could achieve whatever I wanted. But to have this conversation broken down with Rabbi Simon Jacobson is very insightful and I think can help you guys massively. Get ready for 2024 with today's sponsor, Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the Memento Mori poster, a poster that reminds you you're going to die. If you want to remind your friends that their time is precious, it makes a great gift. Link in the description at Mulliganbrothers.com. It's finally on sale with the link in the description. And also the Not a Journal, a success journal that actually makes you get stuff done instead of all this fluff and rubbish that we've been getting from journals recently. This is what made us get this studio, our YouTube channels, everything. This is how we did it. So if that sounds something like you're interested in, go to Mulliganbrothers.com where there is a sale now on. Get ready for the new year. But before that, let's jump into this amazing video about ambition with Rabbi Simon Jacobson.
Ego's a topic that does really well on our channel because I think a lot of people wrestle with the idea of ego, especially the idea of striving for success, entrepreneurship, trying to, find place in the world, especially like the business world. What's your take on, having ambition and balancing that with ego as well?
Let's start with this. Every human being needs to have a healthy sense of self. So ego is a very positive thing. It gets out of control like anything in life when it's the only force in your life. It's all about me. So the goal here is not annihilation of yourself or of your individuality or of your identity. It's knowing how to harness it and balance it. So I'll introduce you to a new word. It's a word in Hebrew. I'll just say the Hebrew and then I'll explain, but it's a tremendous word. I'll spell it B-I-T-T-U-L. It's called bittul. What it means is, it's hard to even translate, but I'll try to do my best. A combination of modesty, humility, but even more than that, suspending yourself in face of something greater than yourself. So how does that work together with ego? Having a self is a very important thing, as I said. Self-preservation, self-respect, self-esteem. Someone that feels like a doormat, that feels worthless, is not healthy. So you need to have value, but you have to recognize that all your strengths are not self-made. You're not a self-made person. You have parents, whether you believe in God or not, but you have life came from somewhere. God gave you life. Moses, the Bible tells us, was the humblest man on earth. But Moses was also the greatest man, chosen by God. He's like the greatest leader. So how do you balance those two? He was quite aware of his qualities. But he always said to himself, they're not my own. I was given to me as a gift. And if someone else received this gift, they may have done better than I. So you see a combination of ego and individuality, but also humility. The mistake that people think is ego and humility are antithetical. They're not. A healthy ego means I'm a sense of self, but not because I made myself. I was given value. I have a line in my book, Toward a Meaningful Life. Birth is God saying you matter. You matter not because you think you matter, not because you have a healthy ego, because you were put here with a purpose in this world. So it's recognizing that yourself, the identity that you are, is not just because you made it on your own and you were successful because of ambition and other reasons, but you were blessed. So you get credit, but it's not all about you. There's a great statement from one of the sages, Hillel. He said, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, what am I? So on one hand, we need to understand the value of our own contributions, but we also understand that we're also part of something bigger. And that your very self, the self that you are, is not independent of that bigger reality. That's the balance. And I would go a step further. that a person whose ego and self is driven by something greater, the ego is a far stronger one. Because sometimes you have to fight for yourself. Whereas a person who's just an egomaniac will sometimes retreat when they shouldn't be retreating because of their own fears or insecurities. So I would say the most secure thing in life is to know that you are not made, you were put here. And that gives you a certain divine purpose. The first thing the Bible says, the human being was created in the divine image. Nothing in this world is divine, but you were created, it means you're a piece of the divine. I don't know if there's a more powerful ego statement than that. But that makes you more responsible, not makes you more arrogant. So I think that's the balance that is missing very often in our society. Going back to the point of feeling that if I don't take care of myself, no one else will. When you see selfishness, it makes you also selfish. You have to match others because they're not going to protect you. So therefore you have to protect yourself. I always love this joke about these two guys that go camping, and in the middle of the night, one of them hears a bear rustling about. A bear is, looking for food. So he wakes up his friend and says, "We got to get out of here, there's a bear." And as he's doing so, he's tying the shoelaces of his sneakers. And his friend says, "What do you think, you can outrun the bear?" He says, "No, all I have to do is outrun you." This is the classic me, me, me. But we have to also know there's a deeper side to us, which is, as I mentioned before, the connection that we all have. So I don't see it as a contradiction. I'll just give an example. Look at the human body, a healthy human body. Look at nature. It's made of individual parts. The heart and the brain are very different. The lungs and the liver are very different. Every organ, every faculty, every cell in the human body is different, but they all work together in this unbelievable harmony. So it's not about everybody being a clone. Individuality actually contributes to the harmony. Think of a symphony. You have an orchestra of many different instruments, many different musicians. They're different, but they're all working together. So frankly, healthy ego, and healthy individuality complements the synergy of the whole and vice versa. Everybody else complements each other. That's the challenge. What we often do is go to extremes. Either it's complete, fierce individuality at the expense of others, or I completely give up and I completely annihilate my own self for others. Both are not healthy. Your heart needs to be a heart for the brain to be a brain, and the brain needs to be a brain for the heart to be a heart, and then they work together. I don't know how many films in the world don't work out, but the ones that do work out and they get produced, look how many credits there are. I'm always amazed how so many people with egos got together and able to pull it off. Then you hear all the nightmares behind the scenes and how many films do fall apart because they can't. But at the end of the day, hundreds, thousands of credits, and I'm sure there were conflicts. And yet they figure it out. Maybe incentives, whatever. My point is, we have the ability to have healthy egos and also find the balance to not become arrogant.
To me, ambition has become this dirty word that we're not allowed to talk about, we're not allowed to have, because people take ambition and they think about materialistic goods. They think about money, they think about buildings and gold and cars. That is not solely ambition. That is not what it's about. Now, if it is those things that drive you, that's fine. That's your ambitions. For me, I don't feel those things are strong enough. I feel that you need a purpose as your ambition. For us, it's to inspire 1 billion people. For us, it's to have the impact and change on people's lives that truly, truly changes people's lives. That's my ambition. It's to wake up every single day and have that impact. It's to help unfortunate children who need that help. It's to help bereaved parents who need headstones with my son's charity. These are the kind of things that I wake up with ambition. This is why I want to be extremely successful in what we do, because it helps people. And this is why I think you need to find purpose as well. If you want to watch a video on finding purpose, please hit the subscription button and a notification bell, because Rabbi Simon Jacobson talks exactly that. But ambition as its own is not a bad thing, in my opinion. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting us. If you want to support us further, head over to Mulliganbrothers.com, our sponsor today. Get ready for 2024 with the Memento Mori posters. These are posters that remind you you're going to die. This poster is my life charted out in these tiny little squares I fill in every single week. This is what it looks like when you get going. And it's a humbling experience to plot out your whole life and then every single week fill in a box, because there is one box on there that you will not fill in. And that reminder to me that I am going to die and that I am in fact mortal has been so humbling that it has motivated me massively. If you want to give that tool or that experience to somebody else as well, there is a sale on with the link in the description where you can buy the Momentum poster. And also the Not a Journal is finally on sale. It's a journal that actually makes stuff happen and actually can help you become successful. This is the journal that helped us do what we did. We designed it ourselves. It was from our own experiences. It's about reaffirming your goals and getting those goals broken down and done every single day. So thank you for all the feedback. They're on sale. Stock up yours for 2024 with the link in the description. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember to subscribe on Spotify. We're on Spotify. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.